A Clockwork Orange was Stanley Kubrick's 1971 film, and this and Last Tango in Paris from a year or two later are what were two of the most controversial films of the 70s. And when it comes to Stanley Kubrick, almost everything he did was controversial. Like, you had Doctor Strangelove from 1964, which was controversial because it was a funny movie about a really realistic look at nuclear holocaust. Yeah, his final film, which was Eyes Wide Shut, and it was all about it was an explicit look at infidelity, well, potential infidelity. Plus, you had his second last film, which was Full Metal Jacket, about a war movie, which was about the joy of killing. And with The Clockwork Orange, I would actually call it Stanley Kubrick's most. Yeah, I'd call it his most deservedly controversial film. I mean, yeah, all his films are deservedly controversial, but to this day, A Clockwork Orange is still pretty wild to see. Is it necessarily his best? No, but it is. Yeah, I would call it his craziest. Now, when I first saw this, I knew that it was very controversial, but I didn't. I had no idea. I had no idea what it was about. I didn't see any of it, and then I bought it. It was a blind buy, and it was my favorite Kubrick film for a while. The only reason this isn't my favorite Kubrick film anymore is because I grew to love other films like Lolita and Spartacus a little bit more. But I still do think that A Clockwork Orange is one of like Kubrick's top five, I'd say. Just what makes this film so crazy? Well, it takes place in the future. It's not like Blade Runner kind of future. It's a more of a normal kind of future. It's a weird kind of future, and yeah, this movie it's a social satire, and it's a really satire on everything, even including the future. So yeah, Malcolm McDowell gives undeniably his best performance as Alex Delarge, who is the leader of this extremely violent gang. And yeah, just for fun, they beat people up and they rape people and they break into people's homes, they steal, really anything that's bad, they'll do it. So when I mean, he has a little bit of rivalry happening with one of the other gang members, and they double cross him, and he gets sent to prison where they like there's this new kind of thing that's happening, and they try to reform him by any means necessary. And so, yeah, Alex ends up getting out, completely reformed, completely a changed person, and yeah, more crazy things happen after he ends up escaping. I mean, not escaping, ends up getting released. So, yeah, I would call this isn't really Kubrick's best looking film, but it's okay. The thing that's good about this is the set pieces and the lighting that he has. I would call this probably Kubrick's best looking film because, like, in terms of the set pieces that he has and the lighting, because the film it's pretty. I mean, when you look at this and Barry Lyndon, which is his number one best looking film, Barry Lyndon, very natural sort of film. He's just able to get all the right, just able to get the right everything for it. But with Clockwork Orange, lots of the things are very like it's all set pieces and stuff. And Kubrick also has a good eye for really getting deep into the mind of Malcolm McDowell. Although Malcolm McDowell plays a sadistic murderer who does really anything and anything that's bad, he's just you kind of sympathize for him when he's in prison and they're trying to reform him. And yeah, it's just crazy that you kind of sympathize for such a horrible person. But Kubrick's a master, and yeah, the way that he is able to direct this film, it's quite something. As I said, the look is good because it's a pretty colorful sort of thing. And then when he's in prison, things like the color scheme starts to go away, it gets more of a grayish color, and then afterwards, when he's out of prison, it's almost like how it was when he was in prison in terms of the color palette, but not quite. Yeah, it's like I thought that was all very, very amazing stuff. Now, I would not call, as I said, I would not call Clockwork Orange the best Kubrick film. But something that I will say is that I do think that this has probably yeah, this like Malcolm McDowell as Alex, or Peter Sellers in Doctor Strangelove. These two are two of the best performances in all of Stanley Kubrick's filmography. So I'm going to give A Clockwork Orange from 1971 4 stars out of 4.